She told me I was the father, until I revealed the truth that destroyed her lie. Let me take you through the wildest, most frustrating chapter of my life. My name is Adrian, 27M, and this is the story of how I tried to build a future with a woman I helped rise from rock bottom, only to be repaid with betrayal and manipulation so deep, it could have rewritten my entire life, if I hadn't revealed my secret just in time. Her name was Lila, 28F. We'd been together for over a year, but I'd known her for about 3. The story of how we met is long and layered, but here's what matters. I met her during the darkest time of her life. She was broken, both emotionally and physically, after escaping an abusive ex. I was volunteering with a non-profit that helped survivors of domestic violence. Lila came through the door one night bruised, malnourished, and scared. I helped her get medical treatment, a safe place to live, and a job at a friend's company. Eventually, when she found her footing again, we began dating. She was radiant despite her past. Optimistic, bright, kind. I admired her resilience and believed I'd found someone truly special. My love for her only grew deeper with time, but so did my guilt, because I had been keeping a secret. Big one. Years before I met Lila, I'd made a personal decision to have a vasectomy. I didn't want to bring children into a world I felt was getting worse by the day. I never hid my disinterest in parenthood. In fact, I'd even told Lila early in our relationship that I didn't want kids, and she said she was fine with that. But I never outright said I had undergone a procedure. I didn't know how to bring it up. And to be honest, I didn't expect it to matter so soon. Fast forward to this past month. Lila had been working overtime for weeks. She was up for a big promotion and I was rooting for her. One afternoon, she called me with excitement in her voice and said, "I have news." Naturally, I assumed she got the promotion and congratulated her immediately. But she paused and said she'd tell me everything once she got home. That night, I decided I'd finally come clean about the vasectomy. I wanted transparency before we took any further steps. I cleaned up, cooked her favorite dinner, steak with spicy rub and creamy mashed potatoes, and set up candles. She was usually home by 7 p.m., but with work being hectic, I wasn't surprised when she ran late. At 8 o'clock I texted her, she replied, "Still some time." I ended up dozing off on the couch from all the waiting and anxiety. When I woke around 10 o'clock, she still wasn't home. I called her, her phone was off. I started to worry. I reached out to my friend, her boss, hoping he had news. That's when the first red flag hit. He told me Lila had left work before lunch that day because she wasn't feeling well, and that the promotion decision hadn't been made yet. So what news did she plan to share? Midnight. She walks in glowing. She kisses me, full of smiles and apologies. Then she pulls something out of her purse. A pregnancy test. 2 red lines, she screams. "We're pregnant." My stomach dropped. It wasn't the unplanned nature of it that shocked me. It was the biological impossibility. I had been snipped. Cannot father children. I held my reaction and gently asked her where she'd been. She claimed she felt dizzy and nauseous in the morning, left work, and ended up in a hospital. That's where she supposedly learned she was pregnant. She said she didn't call me because she didn't want to worry me. Then she said something like, "I know this wasn't the plan, but it's fate, right? I see a future with you. Let's just make this work." If I didn't know better, if I hadn't had that vasectomy, I might have fallen for it. I might have raised a child that wasn't mine. But I do know better. I told her the truth. I had a vasectomy years ago. I cannot be the father. She froze, then snapped. "You did what? Why didn't you tell me?" I explained. She didn't explode. Instead, she launched into damage control. "Vasectomies aren't 100%. There's still a chance." She tried to pull up stats. I stayed calm. "This isn't a miracle," I said. "This is betrayal." She got defensive, accused me of being scared, trying to abandon my child, and using a secret medical procedure to shirk responsibility. Then came the emotional blackmail. "How can you leave me? How will I raise this baby alone?" I left that night. Told my friend I had a fight with Lila and needed a place to crash. The next morning she acted like nothing happened. She smiled, said, "Good morning, babe," and tried to hold my hand. I brushed past her and got ready for work. She shouted behind me, accusing me of being heartless for leaving a pregnant woman alone. I turned and told her, "This relationship is over. You cheated. I'm moving out tonight." I found a new place near my office and moved out. But the drama wasn't done. That evening, when I went back to grab more of my things, I found her parents waiting for me. They ambushed me, shouting about responsibilities, family honor, and how I needed to do the right thing. Her mom started crying and pleading that this was God's plan. I'd finally been blessed. I asked them point blank, "Did she tell you I had a vasectomy?" That stopped them cold. I said, "I'm willing to take full responsibility if a paternity test proves the baby is mine." Lila refused. "I won't do it. I'm not a cheater." So I packed my bags and left. A week later, I went to grab the rest of my things, assuming she'd be at work. But the apartment was empty. She'd cleared everything out, even the framed photo of us from the hallway. Felt relief. Let her go live with the real father. I handed the keys to the manager and walked away. But she wasn't done. The following day at work, she showed up, with her parents and her uncle, a lawyer. They cornered me in the company cafe and tried to pressure me with legal threats. Child support, abandonment, you name it. I calmly let them speak. Then I revealed my vasectomy. The uncle looked shocked. He hadn't known. I asked him, "As a lawyer, am I wrong for asking for a DNA test?" He was silent. Then asked Cass why she wouldn't take the test. She cried. Deflected. He stood up and said, "Let's go. This doesn't make sense." They left and yes, I yelled after them, "You cheated on me and now you're caught." I got a call from the uncle. I thought he'd try to scare me again. Instead, he apologized. He told me her parents had confessed everything. They knew the baby wasn't mine. It belonged to her ex, some junkie she dated in college. She had reconnected with him recently and got pregnant. When he refused to take responsibility, they all decided to pin it on me. Why? Because her parents didn't want their grandchild raised by a druggy loser. So they figured I was the safer bet. Stable guy. A respectable fallback. The uncle said he couldn't represent them in good faith. He admired that I stayed calm and consistent. I recorded the whole conversation. I told my friend, her boss, everything. He said he couldn't fire her over personal drama, but now he knows who she really is. Let her live with the consequences. Let her face the man she thought she wanted, now that she has no backup plan. As for me, I'm free.